Hi everyone, I'm Jodi Liz and welcome back to another video of mental health lessons, maybe, I don't know. Today we're going to be talking about why people self-harm and support you can give yourself and support your parents or guardians can give you. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and please click off this video if you find it hard to talk about or listen to people talking about self-harm, suicide. All these triggers can be quite hard to listen to or hear people talk about, so if you feel that you can't watch this video, then please don't. I don't want to upset anyone. But first things first, I'm going to talk about my experiences in self-harm. So I first started self-harming when I was around 13 years old, and I was diagnosed with depression in 2017, which is why I started self-harming, because I needed a way to cope with all the sadness and numbness that was building up inside of me. I found self-harming to be therapeutic in a really unhealthy way, but that is why I self-harmed. But that is just my experience. There are loads of different reasons why people can self-harm. Some of them are pressure at work or school, if you're being bullied, if you're going through financial difficulty, sexual, physical and emotional abuse, bereavement, homophobia, biphobia and transphobia. If you're part of the LGBTQ+ community, it can be quite hard if you're being picked on for your sexuality or your sexual orientation. A breakup, if you're going through a breakup with someone, that can also trigger self-harm. If you lose your job, illness or a long-term health problem. Low self-esteem can also cause it. Increase in stress, either from school or work. Difficult feelings such as depression, anxiety and anger, and all of those different emotions that you might struggle with. But yeah, those are a few of the reasons that people might self-harm. And I'm not trying to put your pain into a category. I'm not trying to put a label on why you self-harm. I'm just maybe listing some of the reasons, maybe for a worried parent, or, you know, something that you can look at and think about in your own way. Next, I'm going to talk about how parents can support their child if their child is going through something difficult such as self-harm. You can try not to get angry or upset at them, because it is, at the end of the day, it's not their fault. If they're feeling so bad that they feel they have to inflict pain on themselves, then it's not their fault, basically, is what I'm trying to say. What else? Treat it as something normal. So when you're a young child, you'll run about in a playground, or you'll go to a park or something, and you'll trip over and you'll graze your knee, let's just say. And self-harm needs to be treated as the same thing, so it needs to not have a huge deal be made out of it, because that just makes the person suffering with self-harm feel a lot more embarrassed, I would say. Try not to press them for answers as well. If they won't talk about it, then just leave them for a bit, and when they feel they can talk about it, then they'll find a way to talk. And please don't be afraid to keep boundaries, and don't be afraid to discipline your child. It is good to keep a sense of normality throughout the difficult time that you may be experiencing. And finally, again, these are a few, there are loads more things you can do to support your child, but if you feel confident enough, ask your child if what they're using self-harm with is clean and sanitary, and ask if you can remove it from their room or whatever they're using. Ask if you can remove it, just to see if that will help them realise how much pain you're going through by seeing them like this, anything like that. But again, if you don't feel confident enough to do that, then don't try it, because it may just go wrong. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is how you can cope, like coping mechanisms you can try and practice that are, I would say, painful, but aren't, what's the word? They aren't physically intrusive, is what I'm trying to say. So here are some of the things that I've tried before. I used to, you can grab an ice cube and just grip it in your hand like this. If you hold it tightly, it will sting because it is frozen water. It will sting your hands, but it won't damage your long-term health. And what you can sometimes do is get a red pen and draw lines on your arms or legs or wherever you self-harm, and that will give you a sense of, I have self-harmed, this is what I've done, but it's not harmful to your skin or to your body. Tell yourself, okay, so this may be a bit worrying for some of you, but it's quite a good way of thinking about it. So if you have the urge to self-harm, say to yourself, if you still have the urge to self-harm after you've watched a movie, let's say, then you can. And what that should do is, hopefully, after watching the movie, you would have been distracted for a long period of time and your urge will have gone. It's worked for me, but if you don't think it will work for you, then don't try it. I don't want to encourage self-harm or anything like that. Another thing you can do is exercise. There are loads of different exercises that you can do to work on pain and trying to trying to deal with the pain. So if you have a punching bag, if you have access to a punching bag, or go to the gym, try and get all your anger or sadness out, and use the punching bag to try and fight against what your mind is trying to tell you. And you can, another thing you can do is get a piece of paper and just tear it and tear it and tear it into thousands of pieces, hundreds of pieces, and just think about all your worries on that piece of paper and just tear it. That should help momentarily, I believe. And the final thing that I have tried before is lighting something on fire, obviously in a safe way. So we have a fire bin in our garden, and I just put some dry twigs, paper in there, and I just light it on fire and watch it burn. And obviously it's in a safe way. If you are slightly younger, then maybe ask for parental supervision, because you don't want to harm yourself in the process of lighting something on fire. But yeah, that is really all I have to talk about today about this topic. Obviously all the numbers from 2 weeks ago, all the numbers from that video will be linked in the description below again today, and I hope you found some helpful tips in this video, and I will see you all next week for a cover, I believe. But yeah, bye guys, I'll see you next week.